Whew, so good. Hello, hello. First thing I want to share on this broadcast is that this is actually a reschedule of this episode about leveraging Fireside to build your and that is because as it was scheduled last night, something else came up, and I want to talk a little bit about that and share some things before we get into the lesson today, because I just feel like this is really important um, to share. And I seek to be an example. I seek to live what I preach. I seek to explore and be. And the more the longer life has gone on for me and the years that have passed, the more I have come to realize that I cannot be anything other than what I am. And so this is relevant in speaking about Fireside today, and really about meaningful messengers in general, because we go through life and we have a lot of roles to play at different stages of our life. And we adapt. We are adapting beings. And as we adapt, it's very easy for us to fall into patterns of behavior that are around the expectations of others and pleasing people, because we don't want to feel bad. We want to feel good. And if you've listened to any of the other episodes in this series yet, you know that this is something that I talk about over and over and over, and I will never stop talking about it because it is the essence of all that is. Our life is meant to be in joy, in peace, in spirit. And yet we have circumstances in our human physical existence that challenge the that right it challenges that, and that's the beauty of life. The beauty of life is that we are both the physical of that ego being, that physical being, that human being, and the non-physical, or this spirit being, this inside inner being. And so this, when we are inspired, we are in spirit more than we are in physical, more than we are in ego. But we are taught over and over and over and over throughout our lifetime, in this time and space, that we have to apologize for being in spirit. We have to excuse ourselves for being who we are fully. And so we adapt to that, and we learn to quiet our inner voice, and we're told, no, no, you can't make a living doing your art, or you can't get along, okay, hang on, my cat is like pulling my sweetheart, can you please, okay, come on, he's okay, there we go. He was about to pull my ears out, not my ears, my earphones. But we are taught what's not possible, right? And so when we come into the world as these beings that are so pure, and we're just wide eyed and curious and ready and eager to explore and to become more of who we are, as we age and we get to walk and we get to talk and we get to sing and we get to dance and we get to express ourselves, our full true selves, we are taught how to protect ourselves by others who have learned before us. And oftentimes, not oftentimes, every time, what happens is that those who have learned before us have come to understandings that they want to pass on to us. And it's not even conscious most of the time. Sometimes it is, but oftentimes it's just patterned, right? We learn things and we learn how to parent, for example. And if we don't get curious before we become parent, then we will often just repeat the patterns. And it's not just as parent, but it is as child, it is as teenager, it is as young adult, it is as ongoing and ongoing. So, what we see, what we experience, what we feel, what we touch, what we taste, what we smell in our early existence is what we continue to practice and practice and practice. And this is how a habit is developed because it's a practiced understanding. And so, when we become introspective, we look at how are things going forward and do I enjoy this or is there something else I would enjoy more? We get to figure that out. And oftentimes people feel when they are solo, when they are not parented, when they don't feel supported, this is something that this feeling of aloneness is amplified by others. And so when someone comes into the world and is not fully supported and parented or protected and taught directly and they're living somewhere very desolate, they will adapt to that and they become self-reliant. They learn how to self-source. They learn how to self-soothe and nothing is in they are not told that is not good, do not do that, don't touch that, don't look at that, don't. They get to experience for themselves and through their own personal experience of putting their finger in the light socket or what have you, then that young being has the intelligence to understand consequence. If this, then that. If I touch this thing that is hot, I will be hurt. I don't want to be hurt. I want to feel good. Good is our natural set point. We want to feel good. We want to feel God. We continue to seek that which feels good. And so, unparented, we go through life experience and we figure that out on our own. And those understandings inform who we become as we go through the world. But when we are parented, we are protected from figuring it out on our own, oftentimes. And when we still explore and we do something that's witnessed by another, and we don't see anything wrong because we feel okay or we feel good. And the other sees us and condemns it and says, no, no, that's not okay. That language is not okay. That behavior is not okay. You are not okay. You are bad. We start believing that. That is what we absorb as our that voice that replaces our inner guidance. And so I'm sharing this because I know that you know this. If you're listening, you know this. And what I have found over time is that as more and more and more people become conscious of these knowings, they tend to it tends to trigger the ego into saying once we have aha, oh, and we get praised for an ability or a skill or a talent, then others want us to keep doing that, keep doing what they like, keep being pleasing, but not what they don't like. And so especially for the creative, especially for the folks who are drawn into this conversation and come into my orbit, you are often told what is wrong with you, opposed to what is right with you. And this is the inner conflict that you experience throughout life. And as we go through life, it becomes harder and harder and harder and harder to be pleasing to others at the expense of being pleasing to ourselves. And so this is where addictions come in. This is where these labels come in, these mental health issues, these stigmas, these things to say, oh, well, because you act like that or think like that, we are going to tell you this is what your problem is. So own this problem, keep this problem. You can take medicine for this problem. You have an excuse for this problem. You don't actually have to hold yourself accountable because it's not your fault. Well, that is become the problem. And that is the message that has permeated throughout everything in this time space reality. And I am calling on those who understand something different. And when you understand something different, when you understand truth, and there's not your truth and my truth and their truth and all of that. These are opinions. So the language, and we talked about this the other day when I made the connection with the organic, right? When we adopt this language that is being given to us, that is more pure and honest and clear, and it becomes popular, it becomes commonplace, and it gets adopted. And so then people will say, speak your truth, speak your truth, speak your truth. And people get very arrogant about this. Well, I know, right? I know, and my truth is better than your truth. The problem is it's not truth, it's opinion. And there's nothing at all wrong with opinions. But just like the word try, replacing that with lie, let's call the spade the spade. So I would rather hear people say, this is my opinion, or this is what I know to be true, meaning this is my learned experience, this is my lived experience. And so just because I know this to be true doesn't mean everybody knows it to be true, and it doesn't mean anybody needs to know it to be true. Because when I come from owning my own experience, when I come from owning my own opinion, then nobody else is wrong, right? It's taking responsibility. And this opportunity that you have to be a messenger is so sacred and beautiful. And we live in this space where anything is possible. And technology has evolved to a point where we get to leverage what has been created for us to speak what we know into the world. And that is how things get to be, right? A visionary has an idea. They translate that. That is how music is made. That is how art is made. That is how every single thing that you know in the physical world has come to be, because somebody somewhere has translated inspiration from inside to the outside and shared it. And so I encourage every single person who feels called to be a messenger to actively work on allowing themselves to speak from spirit, to speak what they know, and to allow those who care to come along for the ride, and to allow those who are in differing opinions to be, just to be. You don't have to bring them along. You don't have to welcome them in. You don't have to speak to everybody. It's okay that people haven't figured out what you've figured out yet. And so, for anybody catching the replay, what happened last night was that someone was in need of a support, and they called me in. And so I had the beautiful opportunity to hold this human being in my virtual arms, if you will, hold them in my heart, hold space, even though we are over 1,000 miles away for 10 hours. And some might think, well, that's a burden. It is not a burden for me, because that is what I am here for. And so as I live my knowing of truth, I have to show up for what I am here for. And so while I will make appointments and intentions, it is often less. So a few years ago, I recognized that the way that I was living was in conflict with who I am. And the way that I was adapting to others' norms and society's norms and expectations didn't work well for me. And so, over these past few years, it has been a very difficult, very painful, and very beautiful becoming of allowing myself to come through fully. And working through all of the fear, all of the nonsense, all of the false beliefs have that I have held on to keep myself safe, to protect myself. And that is to allow the beliefs that I am not enough, or that I am not good, or that I am not God, that I am not being, that I substitute others for what I know to be true. And so I've come to a point in my life where I don't do that anymore. And there are no filters, and I am speaking my mind. And this is a constant evolving, this is a constant becoming. And so last night, as I was in process with this beautiful human being, I thought, hmm, I have this I have this thing to do. I have made this appointment. I have promised. I have I have made this commitment. And so here in this space, I could end this call. I could let this person know I will be back. We can continue. I must go. I have something else. And I sat with it for a moment, and there was no choice for me. I was not leaving. And I thought I could send a message. I could text something. I could cancel and reschedule. And I realized that is not necessary either. And so there is one person with me right now, live here in studio. And that is the person who has been called in and knows that they are meant to hear my message. And that is all I care about. So, blessings to everyone listening to the replay. And I appreciate you as well, because you clearly are choosing to be called in and to listen and to learn and to take away. And I invite you, if you are inspired, if you feel good when we communicate in this way, to contact me. You can contact me through social media. You can contact me by going to contact.growthseekerswelcome.com. But contact me off of this, because I feel you. I know who you are as you're listening and you're receiving. And many of you have been doing so for many, many years. It has not gone unnoticed. I know you are there. I feel your presence. I feel your heart. And I know you, and I am waiting for you to make the move, because you are the one in control. And so when you feel inspired, I can't speak for anyone else or anything else that you live through, but I can tell you that I am here for you. I am here to be of service in your becoming. And so there is no barrier to entry. All you have to do is choose to be honest, to contact, to take that first step. And if you decide at any time, oop, this is too much, I don't want this, that's no, 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 not for me, that's okay, then you stop, because you are always in control. And if you have maybe contacted me in the past, if we have had interaction, if you have felt seen by me, heard by me, supported by me, there's reason for it. And there's reason you're tuning in again. And so do not think that I have condemned you. No matter what we have experienced in time and space together, it is the past. And when we live the present from the past, or we live the present from our future projection, we are out of integrity. When you are in present and all is well, it is always, 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 always in the present moment. It is always well. That you just move there. You just stay there. You allow there. You experience there. You are divine there. And what happens in 5 minutes or 5 hours or 5 days or 5 years, it does not matter. And you cannot look outside and look to others and feel like, well, I did something to offend, or I did something that, or I experienced them being offensive, or whatever, and carry that with you. Because the only one that is damaging, the only one that is diminishing is you, just you. And why do that? You're here for a reason. You have a purpose for being. And so the lesson today, hopefully you got a lot of lessons, but the leveraging Fireside to build your tribe is that what I love right now about this platform is that it gives an opportunity that is not oversaturated, that there are not thousands of others listening to me right now. There are two people here with me in this space. There may be others listening to the live stream. There may be others listening on the rebroadcast. But right now, in this very moment, there are two other beings, and I see them. I know who is here. I know that they are showing up, and I know that they are continuing to listen. And I know when people leave and disconnect. And it has absolutely nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them sourcing for themselves what they need in that time and showing me as a mentor, as a messenger, that they are here. And that's the beauty of this platform. And another is coming, and more will come. And I see you. I don't need to say your name, and there's another, and another will come. And this is how this works. And so, for those of you with me on this broadcast live, you can see exactly what I'm talking about in the present moment because you have shown up. And isn't that beautiful? And so, what happens in 5 minutes or 5 hours is immaterial. Right now is all we have, whatever right now is. And so, as you go forth and as you confront your fears about speaking your truth, about speaking what it is that you have experienced and sharing that, I want to encourage you to come from a place of understanding that you have nothing to do with others receiving of the message they need. There is no effort that you can put in that will change somebody else's experience. Every single one of us comes in and leaves this earth in divine timing, no matter what, every time, always. And we, this ego being, often there is guilt, there is shame, there is blame. There are all sorts of feelings associated with that which we observe. And we go through life feeling these things and imposing upon our own selves and our own heart that we did something that created something that is unwanted for another or that is wanted for another. And my mentor, Dr. Wayne Dyer, would say, I don't want the credit for somebody's success. Because if I take the credit, I also have to take the blame. And I didn't sign up for that. I'm just here. I'm just being. And so I would encourage you, as you go through your experiences, to remember that you do not have control over the life experience of another. You have control over your experience of your life and how you interpret each and every moment of your life. And the longer you take to process, the more space between, the more you allow yourself to be and not live by the expectations of others. And this is not something that just absolutely not something that will just happen overnight. It takes time, it takes integration. And you get to choose when you do the work and when you take a break. And it's all beautiful. And so, with that, there's so many more things I want to share, and I'm going to be scheduling more of these meaningful messenger episodes. And I have also other things that I want to share. And there are no topics, no issues that are off limits. And so, as I mentioned before, contact.growthseekerswelcome.com. There is a form there. You can fill out and tell me anything. And if there's something that you would like to discuss or that you would like me to provide insight around, please, by all means, let me know, because I am here as a channel for you to become more of who you are in an easier, more holistic, well way. There's no fight, there's allowing. And so the more you share with me about how I can support you from close, from afar, it doesn't matter. I'm here for that. I'm here for appreciation. And so are you. And so, as we do a dance together, the more intimate we become, even if we never speak, the more you allow my beingness to support your desires, the more I can do that for you. And that is all I have to say about that, I guess. Just you are welcome, always, always welcome to contact me anytime and share what what your vision is. And with that, whoa, goodness gracious, so much more to say. But I want to invite you, if you're still in the studio with me and you have something that you would like to say or ask, anything, please, by all means, hit the button to request to speak. And if you don't have anything that you would like to say at this time, that is perfectly fine too. Thank you so much for sharing this time and space with me today, whether personally in studio or live streaming, or whether you are catching the replay. I value your gift of letting me share with you my message, and I will continue to. And so sometimes I will have an inspiration because I get messages from people all day, every day. All day, every day. There are messages coming into my texts while I've been broadcasting. That is who I am, and that is what I'm here for. And I will continue to show up forever because this is all I can do now. I cannot be anything less. I can only be the full embodiment of who I am and what I'm here for. And as we grow together, this is something that I'm so happy to share and support over and over and over. And I appreciate that message that you sent. I received that and I know that. And it is always on your time. Never feel rushed, never feel obligated. This is a false feeling. This is a taught feeling that this anxiety or this pressure to perform or to speak or to do. This is what we have so far learned we must do to get through this time and space reality. And the truth is, the scary truth is that it will not always be that way. And the balancing of that understanding is what your work is every day along the way. And I encourage you to really be reflective more and more in your life. When you feel the feelings of disconcerting when you feel the feelings of confusion, of trying to make sense of things. Know that you can go within anytime. You can pause no matter what. You believe things that have told you, no, you can't. If you do this, if you take a pause, if you breathe, the world will end. But I encourage you to get curious around that. Never do anything to put yourself in danger or anybody else. And at the same time, allow yourself to trust your guidance. We talk about this as gut instinct, red flags, thing like that. And in hindsight, everything's 2020. But in the moment, we have to make the decision that's best for us, for our well being, for our survival. And these are things that haunt people. And something that is, I believe, recently, I don't really pay attention to news, but I get the messages that are necessary for me to support in the way that I can best support. And I saw today, I had seen something about, I knew there was some celebrity that had committed suicide recently. And I believe it was Twitch from the Ellen DeGeneres show, and I'm not sure what else he's done, but a beautiful, beautiful soul, and so gifted and so talented. And I know that a lot of people are experiencing their own pain around this event, and they are internalizing this event, and they are trying to make sense of it. And I am so grateful because I'm an appreciator, and so I look for what's good in everything. I am so grateful that there is dialogue happening around this shared experience of loss. And I know that it can be very difficult. And I know that when we tune in to messages that are that are supporting our fears and our pain, it sometimes often feels healing because we know we're not alone. And I want to encourage you, whenever you're feeling out of control or in pain, in crisis, the only thing that you have to do is get yourself to a safe space. Get yourself out of crisis. You cannot create from crisis. You cannot create what you want from crisis. Let me rephrase that. When you create in crisis, you create crisis. You continue crisis. You expand crisis. And it takes getting out of crisis to a place of neutrality, to clarity, to peace. That is the key, getting out of crisis to neutrality. And when you can do that from a place of neutrality, you create that which you desire. And that, what Gandhi says, that quote that everybody loves to put on memes and preach, but there's a very few who actually connect with it. Be the change you wish to see in the world. You cannot be the change you wish to see when you are coming from fear, from crisis, from pain. You must come to peace first. Get yourself to that peace, that space of feeling neutral and ease and okay. And from there, you do not need others to come along. You do not need to be accepted in the group because the group is still in the crisis. The group is perpetuating the crisis. The group is speaking about that which they do not want. And the group is soothing those who are in pain by by reminding them they're not alone. There is more pain. There is more pain. You are not alone. We are there with you. We are angry. We are hurt. We are fighting. This is not the place you are going to create the change you wish to see in the world. This is the place you are creating the pain that is hurting you, that is overwhelming you, that is pushing you to say, I cannot handle this. I need to get off the ride. Where, oh, where? How, oh, how? And because you are in that pain and you are seeing others in pain and in crisis, you do not feel capable of getting out of it, but you are capable of coming to peace. And all you have to do is turn off the sound. All you have to do is find something soothing just for a moment, just to make you feel a little bit more at ease, at peace. And when you allow yourself to be led from a space of peace, even if just for a moment, so many opportunities will present to you that are exactly that which is what you really want, that is going to lead you further into peace, further into the becoming, further into the love, further into the healing, further into the embodiment of who you are, further into satisfaction, further into joy, further into ease. But it is only from that place of clarity, of ease, of peace that you can go up. Below that place of neutrality, you cannot get above neutrality. Is this making sense? I know it's making sense. And even if it's not fully integrating right now, which it probably won't, because it's pretty heavy stuff, and it takes that individual being willing to suspend disbelief and allow all of the lessons that you've been taught to just be on pause, just for a moment, to be on pause, to self reflect and get curious and examine. When something feels good, it is the right path. If it does not feel good, it is never the right path. It doesn't matter who the messenger is. And so I, as Nicole Holland, I am not important. My name is not important. My humanity is not important. It is my hmm, hmm, yes. I am so appreciative of your reception of me as messenger to help you remember who you are and to hear your own inner voice. And that is all I'm here for. And with that, we are complete. I love you so much, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon.